Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you. Of course, we are pleased to be joined by Chad Logan, the head boys basketball coach at Fenton. We're in some technical difficulties, so that's why you can't see him. Chad, how are you?
Doing well.
So let's talk about the season so far. How are you guys doing?
We're off to a decent start. We're currently 4-1, and we play Friday in a Christmas tournament kind of shot clock game at North Farmington High School against Detroit Loyola.
Yeah. So going into this season overall, what's really been working for you guys?
Well, last year we kind of had a nice season too, but this year I didn't really know. We had a new group of guys, and so far we've been able to defend pretty well. We can defend the ball pretty well, and we just basically have got to the basket a little bit. And when you get to the basket, you make more shots than you miss. So far, so good on most of that.
Yeah. Kind of talk about some of the guys that are returning for your team this year, and then some guys to watch out for.
So Jahan Bond and Sam Dillard are returning guards, and they've done a pretty nice job so far. Just like I said, getting to the basket and giving other teams problems. And then Justin Bonera, he's our we don't really have a lot of size, but he is longer. He's 6'3", and he's kind of got a long arm type guy. And he's a 3-year varsity player, and he's just kind of been steady. You look up and he's got 10, 11 points and 6 or 7 rebounds. And one game he had 8 blocks, which was really big. And he's not like a shot blocker guy, but he, got a couple around the rim and stuff like that. So those 3 guys are our main guys. They played last year, lots of minutes, a couple starts, stuff like that. So they're solid.
Yeah. What are some other guys to watch out for on your team?
Well, I got a couple little guards that really get after the ball, but they don't score, so they won't ever get like any notoriety because they've only scored 4 or 6 points in 5 games. But they just guard the point guard and give them fits the whole way. That's Nolan Alvord, who's a junior, and Aiden Bowe, who's a junior, and they're just good defenders. They get people out of the rhythm, and that's really giving some other people problems. And our one loss, the guys at Mason were really good, and they didn't even feel that pressure, and they were able to run their stuff. And the 2 6'8" guys at Mason were a really big problem because that's really big in high school. So that was a nice game. We lost by 7 on the road, but they're 6-1, so they're not losing to many people either. So,
going into this season, you talk about some of the teams that you have. Where do you think you're at right now?
I like where we're at. I mean, like our conference is good for this reason. Nobody's really like high end, ranked in the state on our division on our side, because we have 2 divisions. The other side, Goodrich is really good, Corunna is really good, but you could play them in a crossover for the championship type stuff. But our division is kind of tricky because everybody can kind of beat everybody. So we went to Flushing and had a win on a Friday night, which was kind of tough to do in any league. And then we were able to beat Swartz Creek at home, and that was our first home game. And to be honest with you, the students were kind of waiting for us to be home and all that type of stuff. So we kind of jumped on Swartz Creek quick. But just our league is kind of fun because, we'll play Holly in a couple of weeks, and that's a big rivalry game. And you go to Linden, and they've got a couple big kids, and so nothing's really free. There's no real layups in our division. That's proven out the last couple of years. Flushing's won it the last couple of years, but teams would beat them. 2 or 3 losses, they'll still win the division, but it's pretty fun. And then we played Country Day the other day. Mason's good. We play Loyola this week. We play Clarkston in a couple Wednesdays, or a week from tomorrow, I guess. And so we've got a good schedule. And of course we play Goodrich, and we actually play Lake Fenton, which is a big rivalry game. They're on the other side of the lake, and all our kids know each other, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah. You kind of previewed your schedule a little bit. Where do you think your side of the Metro League is pretty good? Is it just like is it anyone's division for the taking on your side?
I think so. I think everyone would say last year that Flushing was the clear favorite. Maybe the last couple of years, with Linden having a couple of really good guards over there, and I think this year, we don't do preseason polls in that, but I think people would vote 2 or 3 different teams that maybe potentially win it.
Yeah.
The other side is just the smaller divisions of
Right.
our league. Corunna, Owasso, Goodrich, Lake Fenton, Brandon, and Clio. We play 3 of those teams, and it's really nice for us. We play Corunna, We scheduled non-conference with Lake Fenton and Goodrich, and we could cross over and see them again. So that'll be really fun to have a conference champion for potentially the first time ever.
Yeah. And of course, going into that, kind of talk about these next few games and really what do you want to see out of your team?
Well, Friday is going to be a really good test because Loyola a couple years ago lost in the quarterfinals to Beecher.
Yep.
And then last year they were 17, 18 wins and actually had an ineligible player and they had won a regional. And then they've got 5 senior starters. So that's no cupcake there. And then if I say Clarkston, everybody knows that name across the state. And then we get into a rivalry game at Lake Fenton, and then we play Holly, and then we're right into the nuts and bolts of the middle of the season. So it'll be pretty interesting to see. I don't think we're going to be overmatched in many games, if any at all. But you got to go put the biscuit in the basket and or keep the other team from doing it pretty well to see where you're at late in the game.
All right. Well, Chad, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't know what's going on, so my apologies. So.
All good.